Hello and welcome to the Try Talking Sport podcast hosted by me, Joanne Murphy. Whether you are an athlete, adventurer, endurance enthusiast or simply have an interest in sport, you've certainly come to the right place for inspiration, encouragement, motivation and, as always, plenty of entertainment. What a busy few weeks it has been since the last episode. I literally just got back home to Galway yesterday afternoon from a whirlwind 2-week trip to Switzerland and France to work the Spar Swiss Epic mountain bike race and the 10th anniversary edition of IRONMAN 70.3 Vichy. This was my second time to work the Spar Swiss Epic, a 5-stage mountain bike race for elites and amateurs alike who race in teams of 2 to conquer the Alps. The event is part of the global Epic series, the pinnacle of which is the Absa Cape Epic in South Africa. I did manage to get some downtime after the Swiss Epic, which started and finished in Davos, and so I headed for St. Moritz for a few days of hiking, running, exploring, great fun, food and company with Daniela Reef, her partner Jennifer and Danny's best friend Maddie. The perfect way to recharge before announcing an IRONMAN 70.3 Vichy. It was my first time at this event and it was a super weekend of racing and celebrations. Next year, they are adding an Ironman to the event, so it will be a double race day on Saturday the 23rd of August with an Ironman and IRONMAN 70.3 on the one day. It is definitely worth checking out when planning your 2026 race calendar. These two events kickstarted the busiest few weeks of the announcing adventures abroad for me this year, with IRONMAN 70.3 Connacht Haste, the Men's IRONMAN World Championship in Nice and IRONMAN Wales in September, before heading to Kona for the Women's World Championship in October and the IRONMAN 70.3 World Championship in Marbella in November. And with a number of other events in the mix in between, it's going to be a hectic few weeks ahead for sure, but also some very exciting ones. I cannot wait to see who will be crowned the 2025 Ironman and IRONMAN 70.3 World Champions and Pro Series winners. If you're an Irish athlete living in Ireland or abroad and have qualified for any of the 2025 Ironman World Championship events in Nice, Kona or Marbella and would like to join the Team Ireland WhatsApp group for your race, please do make sure to get in touch, or indeed if you know any athletes from Ireland that have qualified, tell them to get in touch with me and we'll add them to the WhatsApp group. Before heading off on my Swiss-French adventure, I finally managed to get a road race under my belt for the year and had great fun taking part in the Streets of Galway 8K. Now, I really had no training done for the race. I did a bit of last minute cramming the week of it, but I hadn't run an 8K without stopping all year, mainly due to the fact that I was injured and only coming back to running for the best part of the first 5 months of the year, following my self-inflicted fight with the picket fence in New Zealand in December, which resulted in my baby toe being fractured and I not knowing it for the best part of 3 months. But that's a story for another day. I digress. The 8K race in Galway was great fun. I helped out on the microphone on the start line to get the race underway and then off I went. I sauntered around it, soaking up the atmosphere and the cheers from the people lining the streets. And yes, there were people everywhere. I was definitely participating, not racing. Myself and my buddy Ian chatted the whole way around, except for the final 500 metre all-out sprint to the finish line. Ouch. It was such a super event though, and I managed to dip under 50 minutes, 48:04 to be exact. So I was particularly delighted with that. Anything below 50 minutes was a bonus. The race sold out really early this year. Next year is the 40th anniversary and I can guarantee it will sell out even earlier. So be sure to mark the diaries for the 8th of August 2026 for Galway and do not miss out. I've actually managed to keep up a bit of running whilst on my announcing adventures since the 8K race, with some running in Davos, St. Moritz, Vichy. I even ran around Lyon Airport on Monday evening, clocking up plenty of miles in the legs. I've no races planned, but I am certainly enjoying the freedom of being able to just simply go out and run. In fact, I even went out in the cold and lashing rain in St. Moritz. I wouldn't have gone out if I had been here at home in Ireland, I can tell you. But when Daniela Reef is the one encouraging you to get out and run and is offering to show you the trails and her running playground, then you don't say no, do you? And then, to top it all off, I completed my longest run of the year and, well, it was a bonus day all around. The run was fun, the company world class, the trails were stunning. It was a winning Wednesday indeed. Speaking of winning and closer to home, be sure to keep an eye on the Try Talking Sport Facebook page in the coming days. We'll be running a competition to win entries to a brand new 5-mile night run called Run the Night, supporting Little Blue Heroes, taking place in November in Cork, Dublin and Luxembourg. We'll have entries up for grabs for the Cork and Dublin events on Facebook, so don't miss out. Now, before we meet this month's guest, a big shout out to Dara Morgan, who is currently swimming around Ireland's coastline, covering approximately 1,600 kilometres in an attempt to set a Guinness World Record, whilst also raising funds for 2 charities. He has already covered over half of his challenge. You can follow and support him on Swim Era on Instagram or on the website www.swimera.ie. He is flying along, and I hope to have Dara as a guest on the podcast in the coming weeks to give us the lowdown on his mighty challenge. Also, huge congratulations to Galway swimmer John Short, who secured 2 golds and 1 bronze medal for Ireland last week at the World Junior Swimming Championships. He took gold in the 100 metre and the 200 metre backstroke and bronze in the 50 metre backstroke. Incredible results for the young swimmer who certainly has a bright future ahead. Finally, big shout out to our friends at Nuasan, who continue to offer you, our wonderful listeners, a 15% discount on their range of products online. Check them out on www.nuasan.com and use the code TTS15 to get your discounted supplies. Now, let's meet this month's guest. Luke Ambler from the UK is a former professional rugby league player who has embraced life as an amateur endurance athlete in recent years, all whilst building a movement to challenge and change the conversation around men's mental health. Following the tragic loss of his brother-in-law 9 years ago, Luke co-founded the charity Andy's Man Club, a peer-to-peer support movement giving men a safe space to meet and to talk. What began in Halifax has since grown into a nationwide network of over 300 clubs across the UK, saving lives and breaking down stigma. This year, Luke set out to complete Mission Possible, which includes completing all 5 Ironman races in the UK, alongside additional running and cycling events to support and raise awareness of Andy's Man Club. Having already completed 3 of the 5 events, Ironman 70.3 Bolton, Ironman 70.3 Swansea and Ironman Leeds, Luke was invited to race at the Men's Ironman World Championship in Nice next month as an athlete ambassador, and will swap out Ironman 70.3 Weymouth to race in Nice before heading back to the UK to tackle the mighty Ironman Wales 1 week later. Unfazed by the challenges that lie ahead, Mission Possible has already made a significant impact within and beyond his immediate circle and community. Throughout this insightful conversation, Luke reflects on the strong parallels between sport, mental health and resilience, the support of family and community, and the power of open conversations. His athletic achievements and success to date with Mission Possible are certainly inspiring, but it's his commitment to creating lasting change through Andy's Man Club and beyond that truly sets him apart. From building communities to conquering Ironman races, Luke's journey shows that with purpose, resilience, self-belief and plenty of passion, anything is possible. Now go grab a cuppa and enjoy the show. Luke Ambler, welcome to the Try Talking Sport podcast. I am delighted to finally have you on the show after some scheduling issues and tech issues, but it is great to have you on the show. So Luke, tell me, where are you at the moment and what are you up to?
Currently in a Premier Inn in London. This morning, quite mad actually when I thought about it. So 3 days ago, I was driving through France at the end of a 2-week road trip. This morning, I were in a prison in Nottingham, and now I'm in a Premier Inn in London. So whirlwind, it pretty much sums up my life in juggling things. So yeah, down here in London, about to embark on a pretty great day tomorrow with the longest conversation for Andy's Man Club.
Tell me, what exactly is it?
So it's a 12-hour conversation that's going to happen in London with a host of different people. Some ones that you may or may not know, like myself, some TikTokers, I'm not really into that, but we're going to shed a light on some great topics there, right through to some icons in my world, like Mr. Motivator, and then even to someone I went and watched his show recently, Paul Smith, and then a great Ironman called Daniel Lanigan, he's going to be on there, and Ironman himself, they're coming on in the morning, so lots of different types of people, different things. The idea of 12 hours is one man takes his life every 2 hours, that's 12 men every day, which is horrendous, and we try to smash a stigma down here in London and create this real big conversation, which is going to be super exciting.
And tell me, where did this all come from? It's Andy's Man Club is the movement that you have created.
So Andy's Man Club is actually a charity. So over 9 years ago now, tragically, my brother-in-law took his life. He was 23-year-old, no signs, signals, warnings. He took his life. It left the family completely devastated. I'll always say Alfie, who's now 15, who's going to be doing his own segment on the 12-hour conversation tomorrow, was 6-year-old. We told him, and the screeching which he allowed, when we told him his favourite person had died, were horrendous. So it sparked an idea in my head to create a movement, to create this space where men could meet up and chat. I thought it might just be this little movement in Halifax. And the very short version of this is that first night, after approaching my mother-in-law about starting this in her son's name, we sort of co-founded this movement together, is we turned up and 9 blokes walked through the door, which I couldn't believe. And then week after, 15 men walked through the door. And then I started a campaign called It's Okay to Talk, which just went viral. Like 100 million people did it, and they were just set us on this trajectory to continue to bang the drum and let guys know it's okay to talk.
Yeah, it's incredible, really, to think about how far it's come since its inception, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I was texting our groups for England and Wales today because I've been off for 2 weeks. And I want to know where we're at. And, we're currently just over 300 clubs. We're going to have 325 by end of year. There's 5-year goal 4 years ago to have 50 clubs. And we opened that in the first 3 months of this year. So that's as far north as Aberdeen here in the UK and far south as Plymouth and everywhere in between. And that will eventually go over the season to Ireland. I played for Ireland Rugby League. I'm a proud Irishman. And eventually every English-speaking country eventually. So we've got a big job to do here in the UK first. England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales, and we'll do that, and then we'll see where we end up. But it started off as just this little idea of a coffee club in a little town called Halifax in the north of England, and here we are now, as you say, with 6,000 men a week using that support service, and it's phenomenal. What I love most about Andy's Man Club, and I'll tell you 3 key highlights for Andy's Man Club for me that always stand out that maybe don't necessarily get the attention that they deserve, is that of the now 40 plus staff we have, 30 of those guys are guys who walk through the door as a user. That's the one that I really love to share, although we don't share it enough. And another one is that it's completely run as a majority by 2,500 volunteers who are all guys who use the club. And third is I'm still proud, along with my mother-in-law, to have never worked for the charity, although all I seem to do is work for the charity. I'm down here in London now and it's just cost me 100 quid to bring a friend out on my own pocket and my son for tea while we're down here. So I'm voluntary CEO of that charity. And those 3 things really mean a lot to me because it's still so grassroots, even though how big it is on the outside, it's still so grassroots, and that's what means a lot to me.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And you mentioned there that you played rugby league for Ireland. So take me back to the athlete before you got involved in triathlon, and a little bit about your life before you ever embarked on an Ironman.
Back to the days of Fields of Athenry.
That's it, yeah. And where's the Irish connection?
So my mum's Irish because her mum and dad were Irish. So my nana and granddad were Irish from Kildare and Dublin. Always loved the Irish connection. When I was younger, being an Irish Catholic, we'd often go over for 5-day funerals and rest of it, and we'd go over for christenings and Christmas time. And obviously, as my grandparents passed away and families changed, we haven't been over as much as I like. But I was very proud to play for Ireland. And rugby league in Ireland's not massive, but to play for Ireland was really important to me. So rugby league was my career. I signed for a team in Manchester called Salford City Reds, 17-year-old from school, quit college to go full-time with that. Then I got signed by the Leeds Rhinos and did 4 or 5 years at Leeds Rhinos before ending up at Halifax. And then I chose to retire to focus on my own business and also on the charity. So short-ish career, we're a good career. Probably I set out to achieve what I wanted to achieve, if not more. I retired at 26, which is very young for a prop forward in that game. But a lot was bestowed upon me in terms of responsibilities, having young children, a business, and then this big charity that I never expected to have founded. So yeah, life changed quick and fast.
And how did you get involved in endurance sport and in triathlon?
I love you've asked that because I've never ever been asked that. Everyone always wants to know about Andy's Man Club, so I'm glad where we're going with this. So I started I put on a lot of weight in COVID, but I've always been, when I say fit, you have a lot of people who listen to this who are extremely good endurance athletes, right? But I'm 6'3", 18 stone, right? So I'm not your typical endurance athlete. I'm 112.5 kilograms on a good day. So I was 125 kilograms. I was in COVID. I was looking down at my gut, sagging everywhere. I'm thinking, this ain't good. And then a friend challenged me to do a thing with him. He didn't know that I would put weight on. An ex-rugby player said, why don't we do this thing called 75 hard? For 75 days, you do this challenge. And it was a simple challenge. People can go look it up if they want. So I did it with him and felt great after. Then my other friend, who now is doing this challenge with me, Mission Impossible, Johnny from Mason, says, I'd like to do 75 hard. So we did it. And in the middle of it, we did a David Goggins challenge called 4-4-48. Run 4 miles every 4 hours, 40 hours. We smashed it while still doing 75 hard. To finish 75 hard, he went, why don't we run a marathon? Right. So we just ran a marathon around his local area. Both broken after, but we'd done it. And then what do we do next? And I think I put on Instagram, done this, and someone like, you need to do a triathlon. I'm like, I can't swim. I'm going to do a try. And everyone who's listening will say, I couldn't swim either. But I then found out about a thing called Outlaw. Outlaw, 70.3 in Nottingham. Turned up, couldn't swim, so I breaststroked it. Breaststroked the full thing. Still with a relatively respective time of about 46 minutes, which is not bad for a break. I could breaststroke pretty well. Did my breaststroke, did this event, thought it were good, but shit at the same time, as probably everyone does who does any sort of triathlon. It's the best thing you've ever done. While you're doing it towards the end, you hate it. And then as soon as you've finished, you love it and can't wait to sign up to the next one. I think there's an hour period in there where you're never doing one again. And then you get home and you start searching for the next event. It's a really weird obsession.
I'm surprised you waited till you got home to sign up to the next one. Most people are like, sign me up again.
Yeah. So then we did the Outlaw again. Then we said, right, we've got to do a full now. So then we found the world of Ironman. That was the real deal, wasn't it? So we did Ironman Bolton, which, if you've ever done or heard of, was horrendous. Probably, I'd argue, and I'm going to find out this year when I do Wales, but I'd argue it's the hardest one that there is, Bolton, right? That's my opinion, right? I've done Bolton twice. I did Bolton 2022, and then I went and did it again in 2023, maybe. Yeah. Is that the last year?
Yeah.
It is, yeah. Because then I'd done Lanzarote before that, which was meant to be a tough one. Did Lanzarote, found that just brilliant. That was the year Sam Laidlaw dropped out. So I always have a bit of fun in my head now that it's 1-1 because he obviously won Leeds and I finished Lanzarote and he didn't. So that's 1-1 me. That's my claim to fame in triathlon world. And then fast forward.
Sam also raced at Ironman UK.
Which one was that?
Bolton. He raced in Bolton, but I think Joe Skipper beat him.
I might be 2-1 him then, but I'll pretend I don't know about that.
Okay, no problem. I won't burst your bubble.
At minute it's 1-1. And then did Bolton, worst thing I've ever done. Definitely won't do one again. And then I'm sat in Costa this year, and my friend said, I'm going to do all 5 UK Ironman events. I went, that sounds great, mate. Good luck. Anyway, I think I'm doing it for Andy's Man Club. And I says, fuck. And he says, what? I says, that means I've got to do it with you, and I don't want to do Ironman anymore. And here we are now. I love it. I've already signed up to next year's event already.
Stop it. No way.
Yeah, I can't. I've just got the bug again. Weird.
So hang on now. So you were sitting in Costa. I love this because sitting in a coffee shop is where all the best endurance ideas happen, over a coffee. Never mind having a pint. Sometimes it's New Year's Eve, but a lot of the time it's just chilling, having a coffee. So you decided to do Mission Possible, which is to complete all 5 Ironman events in the UK in 2025.
Yeah, which we've technically failed, but we'll go on to that.
You also added other events to Mission Possible as well. So let's talk about some of those first in what you're adding to that Ironman portfolio, and then we'll go and talk a little bit more about Ironman. There's marathons, there's cycles. What else are you doing?
Yeah, so you know, this is really good, this, because I never talk about this stuff like this. So what happened is he asked me if I'd do this event with him. He just said, I've seen Ironman, I've posted this Instagram post saying these are 5. I fancy doing it. So I'm like, right. Anyway, I've got a crazy brain that works at a million miles an hour. So I'd gone home, thought about it, signed up to all events, texted him saying, I've signed up to all events apart from Weymouth because I haven't put tickets out yet. They better put tickets out, otherwise we're not going to do all 5, and I don't want to do others anyway. Anyway, I'm driving, I'm going to my kids' football game, and I'm like, anything is possible. That's Ironman's time. And I'm like, why don't we have his own tagline? Mission Possible. Because we're on a mission. Their thing is anything is possible. It ties in lovely. Let's do it. Then I said to him, the only problem is being the founder of this charity, I can't only do Ironman because loads of people will turn around and say, well, I can't do an Ironman. You know, I can't relate to it. So then I had to do all the events that Andy's Man Club has also got on. So that started off in the 6th of April, which is the day Andy took his life. It was his 9th anniversary, but it also tied in that it wasn't very shortly after a year anniversary that one of our staff members died by an heart attack from that area of Southampton. So ran that marathon down there. Then it was the Great Birmingham Run. Then it was the Yorkshire Free Peaks. And then we did Ironman Bolton, Ironman Swansea, Ironman Leeds. And then my September is off the chart. I really, if I'm being honest with you, I'm not quite sure how it's getting done, right? So it goes like this. Great North Run. 3 days later, I fly to Nice because I've been given an ambassador spot to now do Ironman Nice in the World Champs, which is phenomenal. The other problem is that we're meant to be at 70.3 Weymouth into then doing Ironman Wales the week after. So now we're going from Great North Run, 3 days later, flying to Nice, doing all the ambassador stuff that's going to entail. Then flying on Monday, driving down to Wales Friday, doing Ironman Sunday, driving home Monday, flying to Italy Thursday morning, cycling across Italy, 233 miles from Florence to Rome, get back from there, and just for a bit of fun, my brother's friend just said to put his stag do on that weekend. So I fly to Budapest on Thursday evening, fly straight from Budapest Saturday afternoon to Glasgow, run the Great Scotland Run, and we're all done. Mission Possible is. Within all that, also, I am going to be a dad and run a charity and run 2 businesses somewhere. But it's funny now saying it out loud.
Holy God, Ted. Do you ever watch Father Ted? As a holy God, Ted.
So, yeah, it's crazy. And I've not trained for the last week or so because I've just had a bit of a chest infection. So it'll be what it'll be. What.
Oh, wow. Okay. I don't even know how to unpack all of that. So we started with Ironman 70.2 Bolton. Then we did Ironman 70.3 Swansea.
Yep.
Then we did Leeds. You've been offered the ambassador entry slot for the World Championships in Nice, which is 3 weekends away. And straight after that, then it's into Ironman Wales. And then it's all the other bits and pieces as well. How in the heck are you going to actually manage yourself?
In what capacity?
Just in terms of like minding yourself to get all those bits and pieces done on top of what you've already put your body through, and then what you're going to do afterwards to make sure that you can complete Mission Possible. Like what's the plan, or have you a plan?
Yeah, probably not the best in terms of physical. So I've just been on a 2-week road trip because it was school holidays. I booked it off before all this madness, and we drove around France and the rest of it. And on the first week, trained exceptionally well. Got some open water swimming done, some biking. Second week, this bit of a chest infection. So training took a little bit of a setback. But long before I'd ever heard it, there's you'll know it because you're around Ironman about know your why. I've been big on this for a decade now, right? A good friend of mine died, Rob Burrows. You might have heard of Rob Burrows, right? And I always did a challenge for Robbie with 2 laps at Yorkshire Free Peaks, straight one after other. And one of the things I thought to myself is no matter what I'm going through right now, tomorrow Rob wakes up with what he wakes up with, and I might wake up with sore legs and be right 3 days later. So I have this big thing that I do in my own head, which is 24 hours from now, good or bad. I could be having the best time of my life, and I think, what will I be doing 24 hours from now? I could be doing the worst thing of my life where I could be on that lap in Wales, crowd could be shouting, and I could be hating everything. But in my head, I'll be thinking, okay, just take a moment. What will you do in 24 hours from now? And the reality is 24 hours during that Wales event, I'll be driving home back to a nice meal with my family. So that's the way I get through it. I always think that what's happening right now will end, but what a privilege it is to be able to suffer, to have the opportunity to suffer, because some people would die or are going to die with a wish that they would be in your position to have that opportunity to suffer. So physically, I could be in far better shape. Mentally, I'm in bulletproof shape. And I think that's ultimately what you need anyway. Nice, I'm shitting myself because I still can't really swim. So if it is a non-wetsuit swim, it's going to be a long day out there for me. I might still be swimming by the time Wales has started, but the job will get done some way or another.
I very much doubt that. Nice is a phenomenal course. You're going to absolutely love it. Of the 3 Ironman events that you've done so far in your Mission Possible challenge, because every race has its own little characteristic and its own little quirk, what's been the standout race for you? Now, I know it's 2 70.3s and a full, so it's hard to compare, but of the 3, which was your favorite and why?
I'm gonna say that I loved all 3 for different reasons. Bolton went first. It were a quickish day. I had a good day. The run were tough, but Swansea were red hot, but I loved it. I'd biked pretty well. The run were just phenomenal with the atmosphere. Everyone were outline shoes, but Leeds was special. Leeds was special. Like it's my home city. I'm from Halifax next door. But what they'd done with getting the Andy's Man Club marquee up, so basically they put gazebo. As you ran out of the park, we set up the Tri-Central and the Andy's Man Club gazebo. So we had a big atmosphere there. People wearing Mission Possible t-shirts, cowbells going. Joe Craven, who's a world champion Thai boxer, a good friend of ours, he was there. He brought a karaoke machine. And it was just the atmosphere. I'm getting goosebumps now thinking about it. So Leeds is the standout by a mile. Nothing to do with being a full. Just for that moment. I had a lot of adversity. I don't know if you know about the adversity I had going into Leeds. So I get everywhere late. It's what I'm known as, right? Not necessarily late, but people say I'm cool as a cucumber. So when some people get to an Ironman, it's a 7 o'clock start. They've got to be there at 4 o'clock in the morning or 5. So I'm going in 10 to 6, touch my tyres, they feel all right, and I'm walking out straight into water and I'm done. This last 2 events, I got there a bit earlier for the first time ever. And Swansea, I went to take my cap off to put air in my tyre. I never put air in my tyres for an event because I don't even know that you have to put air in your tyres for an event. I just fly around on whatever's there. I didn't even used to bring a puncture repair kit until recently. I just thought it is what it is. Anyway, take my dust cap off and then goes down. All air comes out. Turns out valve had come out. We fix that anyway. Leeds is the interesting one. Get there, make sure dust caps comes off perfect, blow a tyre up. And I said to one of the lads who were with me, I says, feels a little bit hard, that tyre. Nah, it sounds, you're just panicking from last week. And then we sat back and it just went like a bomb had gone off. It went boom. Everyone has commented since, different message to me. My bike was covered in your fluid. My missus is still asking what all this stuff is on my coat. My bike was covered. I heard the sound like a bomb go off.
I heard it. I heard the
bang.
bang.
So just for context, yeah, this is now 5:20. It shuts at 6. I've left my kids on their own for the first time. I let my oldest and middle child come. They're staying in camper van on their own at top of the hill. So now I've got to get back for them because they've not had breakfast. They're not even up. And I can't just now think, so I go to the mechanics. He's short. I think they only had one mechanic on. Eventually, he goes, listen, I can do it for you, but you have to come back in about an hour. I'm like, didn't click at the time that it shut at 6. I said, I tell you what, man, why don't I come back at 6? I just give him that time. He went, right, I'll see what I can do. I'm at top at thing. And I said to my son, do you want to run down and see? He's like, oh, they're on with it now. And then my son goes, but the same transition's about to shut. I'm sat with a bowl of Rice Krispies and a slice of toast with nothing on, other than my shorts and a bit of my tri-suit. And I'm like, what do you mean? And I heard him start doing the countdown. Listen, you got 5 minutes. I'm like, shit. Right, kids, come on, let's go. Run downhill. He's done my bike, chuck bike off, on, literally do it 10-second countdown. And then I'm out of transition into the thing, put my wetsuit up, rip an hole in my wetsuit, it's got an hole in the arm. And then we get him water, and it's just like, right, let's just see what's what.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah,
but you had a super day.
Unbelievable day. I got one water. I wanted to go sub 13. That's what we got. You know, it's not the fastest, it's not the slowest, but it was just I'm a middle of the road type of guy, and that's where, you know, it were a great day out. I got what I wanted out of it. I smiled out where, if you ever see me on course, you'll see me smiling. That's what I do, because I genuinely believe in what I'm telling you, that it's a privilege to be suffering. So I'll be smiling, I'll be high-fiving, I'll be cuddling people I know on course, and that's where I'm at. I'm just laughing it up.
I saw you coming down the finish line in Leeds. You had such a big smile on your face.
Yeah, and then cried, which I don't really do. Like, not for any mature reason, just over years doing what I do, I sort of like really become immune to stuff. But just the whole day, there's some stuff going on with my missus, with Elf and Elf Scares. Got some stuff going on there, and I think it just all built up, like the idea of like, if something does, if it does go not too good, what's going on, and the rest of it, and just probably emotion of doing the event, and my kids being there, and everyone being there, and getting the key, and just everything was just like such a momentous occasion, all about Andy's Man Club and that one man, and it was just like, wow.
Yeah, it's class. When you look at Mission Possible, how will you define it being a success for you when you finish the very last part of the challenge?
It already is. I've got 2 staff members downstairs in this who would have never done any type of endurance events, and they've signed up to IRONMAN Swansea next year, 70.3. I've got staff members who just sent, my general manager just sent me a photo and embarrassed her about how weight she's lost, and it's her mission possible to go Weight Watchers. And beginning of the year, I've got a staff member who's got a really bad back, can't really do anything. He says he jogged the full 5K when we did the marathon, because they're a 5K event. I've got another staff member who did another 5K, one who's trying to swim 30 mile over a thing. So, and that's just within staff, you know, the wider community of people who've done comedy shows, people who've done the first boxing event, people who's gone to an Annie's Mango, people are coming down just to watch longest conversation, get social anxiety. So Mission Possible is success. We're going to now keep this as a campaign moving forward for next year. It'd be silly not to. We've got, you know, first time ever, we're doing London Marathon next year. I'm doing that hopefully with my partner, touch wood. She's okay, because it's the 10th year anniversary of her little brother dying. All being well with her, then we'll go get that done together. So it'd be stupid to cancel that campaign and to end it. But it'd be a huge success. If it all goes to shit, I found my possible, haven't I? So the whole idea is what's your possible, and adding all these events. And I think people often now think, oh, Luke will just get through it, and maybe I will, and maybe I won't. And if I do get to Nice and don't quite get through non-wetsuit swim, as an example, that was my possible, wasn't it? And as long as you can look yourself in the mirror after and say, I gave it my all, there were no I left out, I could leave out there. You go out on your shield, don't you? Now, I'm a big believer in putting stuff out into atmosphere. That Nice thing won't happen. I'll have my best swim that I've ever had in an Ironman. But for everyone else listening, they could still not go to plan. And, you know, there's a great saying, your plan goes out the window as soon as you get smacked in the face. And that's everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. And it's true, isn't it?
It's a long day out as well. And it is a world championship. There's great excitement. Are you looking forward to Nice? Are you apprehensive, or are you excited, or a bit of both?
No apprehension at all, because they can't be, well, I'm going against best in world, so I'm going to be shittiest there anyway. So there's no expectation. Like, no one's slower than me, is there? Everyone else is there to qualify because they're good, right? So, even Johnny, who's got an ambassador, he's good. He actually qualified anyway. So, like, he's good. So I just think you're around a lot of people. He has to put on his man club on a different stage with a different clientele of people. Lots of cool stuff that's going to really help elevate that. And I'm a very normal guy who gets to do a lot of extraordinary things. And I think it often shocks people that it's not because I want to be over them. Like, nothing really fazes me like that because I know why I'm doing it. So, like, whether I'm out having banter with these guys down here today or whether I am just who I am. So I don't think I get fazed because I don't put any expectation on it being something, because the expectation is already what we're doing right now, having this podcast and reaching a new audience. Some guy or woman who's sat on here right now who maybe have had their own mental health struggles and now might reach out for support to not necessarily on his man club, might be somewhere in New Zealand or Australia or America. They'll go find their thing and they'll go reach out to a support network, or maybe they'll have a conversation for the first time with the partner. Because let's be honest, if you're doing Ironman, you're not 100% mentally stable. You can't be, because you won't put your body through that. We're all a little bit fighting something, running away from something, running towards something, finding herself, losing herself, and everything in between. So, like, if Ironman's your thing, keep doing it, keep swimming, keep running, keep biking, and just keep finding out who you are and what you're made of.
Yeah, it's very true. We're all running away or running to something. I think when we take part in those endurance sports, aside from the fact that it's a goal and it's a challenge and it's an opportunity to push yourself outside your comfort zone or to achieve new things that you actually didn't think you could ever do. We're coming up to World Championship season, obviously, and we're coming up to a very big race at IRONMAN Wales. I'm sure there'll be plenty of the athletes that are racing that listening to this podcast. And we still have quite a few of the full distance and even the 70.3 races left on the calendar to the end of the season. If there's an athlete out there that's struggling with their mental health or their motivation for training or racing, what advice would you give them? Would it be to just start to talk, to have that conversation, or to reach out to a local organisation or something? What would you say would be the best course of action?
I think a couple of bits there. If they're struggling with motivation or they're struggling with what's coming up, I think two sides. If we're talking about like struggling sport-wise here, start with the end in mind. The visualisation of crossing the line and hearing your wonderful Irish accent saying, "You are an Ironman." Like, what a great thing to be saying when you put that on your Instagram or your social media, or show your kids one day, look, here's mom or here's dad doing an Ironman. Have that vision in your mind. And also have in your mind that if it doesn't happen that day, because I had a great guy who didn't quite finish Leeds and beat himself up, but in the grand scheme, it doesn't matter. No one's died, right? I know you've committed your life to this, but you get to go try to do that again. And as long as you can look back and say, okay, where did I, as Luke Ambler, and I'm using me as an analogy, where did I start from? I started at 125 kilograms, laid on my playroom couch, looking at my belly, thinking it's not acceptable to look like this for my kids, right? And as a man, as a dad. Now to be where I am now, doing what I'm doing in this sport, and like, I am a world champ in my own world, and I just told you I've gone 13 hours, and I've got friends who go 8 hours. But in my world, to me, I don't think I'm better than I am. I know where I am, but I'm just appreciative of how far I've come because I couldn't swim 5 years ago. So that's what I'd say to someone. Now, let's just take this to mental health. Start with the end in mind. Sport is just the analogy. Start with the end in mind. What do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Do you want to be a great dad? Do you want to be a great mom? Do you want to be a good parent, a good partner? Do you want to be more content in life? Now, look how far you've come. And then work each and every day to try and be the best version of yourself. And that might be admitting you've got a problem with drugs, drink, heartache, grief, and then reach out. We're living a time now with more human resources than ever before. Go reach out, find out what works for you, but don't quit when one thing doesn't work. It's like triathlon coach. You might go to one triathlon group, might not be for you. That doesn't mean that every group is for you. You go to the next one, don't you? And you find out what works for you. That's like finding a therapist or finding someone to speak to. It's knowing that it's okay to talk. It's knowing that actually what I'm feeling right now won't last forever, because 24 hours from now, what will I be doing? 24 hours ago, what did I do? And I use a great example, I'll be honest with you. I got back from France after a 13-hour drive on Saturday. My dad wanted to go on a bike ride Sunday, so I went on a bike ride with him and my son's first ride. Best ride I've ever done. No power meter, no heart rate monitor, no speed, just for the love of riding. Got back, and yesterday I had the biggest holiday blues I've ever had. I had no motivation. I actually went on to cancel Frankfurt and Mallorca for next year. I thought, I'm not going to do it. I thought, I don't need to do this anymore. This year's done. And then everything was just a bit negative yesterday. This morning, I'm in a prison on my way to a prison. I'm having my haircut in London. I've down here now doing this event, and it all turned around. Now I'm thinking about adding maybe more events to the calendar, right? Who knows what will happen?
Yeah.
But that's life.
Yeah.
24 hours ago, you felt shit. Maybe an argument with your partner, or your kid told you they don't like you at a minute, or your boss has let you go. Tomorrow's a new day.
Yeah. What have you learned most about yourself over the past couple of months with this Mission Possible challenge?
I'm not right. just that I can go someplace that I think I've done enough things in my life now mentally. And I think the reason why I do it, I found a video and I can even send it here. I did an ultra marathon years ago with no training. Done a little bit of running, and I decided to sign this thing called Raced at Stones. And someone will video me at the time and asking me why I'm doing it. I said, there's 3 reasons why I'm doing this. And now it's weird because it's like, even though this were 8 years ago or whatever it was, like, first one's my kids. And this is how it goes in this video on YouTube. I want to show my kids that when my time's said and done, that they can look back and say, when Dad said he was going to do something, he did it. And he was a man of his word. Number 2 was Andy's Man Club and breaking down the stigmas. And number 3 was to show people that when you put your mind to something, that you truly can endure. And the more times that you can put yourself in situations that you do learn to endure when really hard times come, like stuff with your family or your friendships, your mind is already used to dealing with hard things. Now, don't get me wrong, it still hurts. Losing Andy still hurts. But by building your mind up to a point, even all them years ago, it sets you up in a position to be able to do something with that pain. So for me, it's being able to tap into fuel sources that are much more than carbohydrates or morton, although they're both good as well. It's being able to tap into a place in your mind where you, no matter how tough it gets, you can say, I've been through far worse, I'll go through far worse. Now let's enjoy this moment. And that's a really weird place to get yourself into when you're in the middle of an Ironman. You're broken, something's hurting. You're injured, aren't you? You can't do it not injured. Like, something's hurting, your knee's gone, your ankle's gone, your Achilles is firing, everything's screaming. But if you can smile through that, and I genuinely mean that, like, smile through it. It's a psychotic place to be, but a beautiful place to be at the same time.
Again, it comes back to all that piece of, we choose to do it and we get to do it. We don't have to do it. And it's about reframing the thoughts maybe around some of those dark moments that you will inevitably have when you're training or racing, doing a triathlon, even if it's a sprint triathlon, because a sprint triathlon can hurt. I know it's shorter, but it still can hurt, and you can still go to a dark place with it. What's been the highlight of Mission Possible so far?
You know what? I do think, well, one were definitely my kids at Leeds. My daughter says that she first falls to arse and cheering all day. My kids loved it, and seeing them around it and wanting to do their own fitness journeys. And I've got a couple athletes as kids that I'm very fortunate that monkey see, monkey do, and they've really dedicated into it. But I just think, how can I not say the world champ? I were at Spa with Missy, said about to turn phone off. And Liv sends me a voice note, Luke, I'd love to offer you. And I'm like, to my missus, oh my God. So now I'm 4 foot next hour trying to sort it all out. She's like, look, we're at Spa, but I know you can't think, because this is crazy. I'm like, who would have ever thought? Like, I had a little weird goal that no one knew about, to try do the 12 to get automatic qualification one day. If others do that, like, I'm never going to qualify in any other way, but it'd be a good way to go out, one day. And then to get that, like, wow. And then for what the mission stands for, to then increase the challenge, to put it on a global scale. Yeah. And then also to, weirdly, I've not booked my Weymouth accommodation, but to be going to Nice, which I've just been to last week, and go there and just get a sense of that. And it was just like, yeah, like it was written in the stars to do that. And now we're going, and we're gonna have a good time of it. So I can't not say that. But I'm also not a guy of massive applause on things. So even like people seem much proud of Andy's Man Club or stuff he achieved. So like, this is the highlight of today, having a good conversation with a great person. And I'm not just saying that. And that's how I live my life. Like, longest conversation tomorrow is great, but then we'll go to the next thing. And that's how I sort of live in the moment, as present as I can. Who
has been your biggest inspiration to date?
I find inspiration from lots of people. I'm very lucky to meet some amazing people. I get to do some crazy stuff, but I'm very lucky to have amazing people. I'll tell you what I'm trying to get out here. So I have a great dad and a great mom and a great partner, right? All very different people. My mom is my biggest cheerleader by a mile. Mum and dad separated when I was younger. Mum had a car crash when I was 8. She's my Irish connection. She's got a cyst on her brain and she has drop attacks. The most caring, loving person I've ever met in my life. Most selfless, loving person. Reacts to everything I put on social media. Tells me good morning every morning, love you every night, and she's very proud of me. My dad is a very hard-working Yorkshireman who, when I saw him, in fact, I saw him at Ironman cheering like I was back playing, probably better than I was playing rugby. So he was like, yes, I'm proud of you. Like, and he was just buzzing and that. But my missus is very different to me. She's a massive introvert, but she massively grounds me. And there's a bit of a funny story, right? And this isn't to drop anything in there. I was very lucky a few years ago. I got invited to Prince Charles's house. And it was the only moment in my life where this normal Yorkshireman had a taste of this world where I was like, maybe I need to conduct myself a bit different now. Picking my kids up from school. She were at work. She not really texted me at all. And I was walking in, I'm thinking, no, maybe I need to conduct myself, speak a little bit different. And she texts me saying, don't forget mince for shepherd's pie. Right. And that would stand out as a moment in my life forever. Right. Where day before I'm sat in Clarence House next to Buckingham Palace, meeting the future king. And all these people that are all blown away by what I'd done. And then my missus texts me, no, I hope it went well, or any of that stuff like people do. Her thing is that my care for you is that I'm looking after the kids while you're off doing all this, right? So I know she cares, but her way of showing it is don't forget mince for shepherd's pie. And I was like, that's life, isn't it? That's
she was probably keeping you grounded as well, was she?
Beyond belief, but without even knowing. And I think most people think inspiration is going to be something big and esoteric, someone to look up to. Where I think, like, for me, a lot of time, it's the people who really keep me grounded and keep me honest and keep me in check. And different attributes, whether it be hardworking like my dad, whether it be loving like my mom, or whether it be extremely resilient like my partner is. She's probably the most resilient person I've ever met.
I think I might know the answer, but I'm going to ask you anyway. What achievement are you most proud of?
What do you think I'm going to say?
Andy's Man Club.
No.
Really?
Yeah, probably not even in my top 3.
What?
Yeah, I think Andy's Man Club's great. It is great, but like I have amazing kids that far would outrum. And his Man Club's great, don't get me wrong. But like, I just think being a dad's always been my number one. My ability to live in the present would be a great highlight. And I love to travel in my little van and I love being present. So maybe Andy's Man Club would be up there as number 3. But I think definitely number 1 would be kids and attempting to be a good dad. And we don't always get that right, do we, as parents? It's tough.
What ages are your children?
15, 11 and 6. And I love them up here. I know everyone says that, but I'm just really passionate about them being great athletes. So my greatest achievement, therefore, would be watching them. So my son, we're going into Edinburgh IROX end of year because it's his 16th birthday. Probably he wouldn't know this. I tell him all the time that I'm going to take his head off and that because he's great and he wants to beat his old man. But yeah, he's a phenomenal athlete. My daughter's a phenomenal athlete. And I think there's some of the things that I'm really proud of for them to develop how they are. But yeah, obviously we're stupid if I didn't say I wasn't proud of Andy's Man Club, but not necessarily from my perspective, but from what the team have done. I think I'm really big on that. I had a great captain at Leeds Rhinos called Kevin Sinfield, who'd never take the credit himself, and because he didn't need to. And I think that's like Andy's Man Club's built on them same philosophies that Andy's Man Club is nothing with just me. It's a massive team effort. I'm just a cog in that whole thing. So for me, I'm proud of what the team have done, and that'd probably be a big highlight for me.
Do you love what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm passionate about everything because obviously my own personal work, I'm very lucky. I've got a great team in my own business. We do some phenomenal work in schools and we're working on some Ministry of Defence work at minute with a really interesting clientele of people looking after their well-being and culture and we run prison programmes, part of the NHS. And yeah, I live a very chaotic life to some people. To me, I'm still in chaos. I probably yesterday when I said it were a bit of a weird day or bank holiday, there was no happening. And I think I just love chaos, so that's what I love. I love problem solving.
I'm going to do maybe a little rapid fire round with you now. I'm going to ask you some random questions. Swim, bike or run, which one do you secretly love the most?
Run, but not in an Ironman.
Best song on your training playlist right now?
I really love Zach Bryan at the minute.
Why?
Just think he's really calming. Like, I think there's just some songs in there. You just drive to him, you can ride to him, run to him. I just think, he's just really chilled out and calming.
One piece of kit or gear you couldn't live without on race day. What is the most important piece of kit that goes into your bag on race day morning, other than the bowl of Rice Krispies for your breakfast?
This is a great question because I'm so relaxed about this stuff. Good pair of socks.
What's the first food or drink you crave after an Ironman?
Nothing, which is really annoying because I love to eat. I get over at finish line and I just do not want to eat. In fact, I went into 10th this year, but first time ever. I didn't even usually go into 10. And there's some right food and I ended up giving it my son. I'm fuming about it because I wanted to eat. But I reckon pizza or burgers are a great shout.
If you could race anywhere in the world, where would it be? But I think that might be Nice at the moment.
Yeah, and it would have been Lanzarote again. I loved it out there. I thought that was brilliant. There's some on my hit list to do. I'd like to do like Portugal, the Spain one. Obviously, I'm doing Frankfurt now. Mallorca is going to be gorgeous. And then maybe, who knows, go a bit further. I'd like to go a bit further, maybe do one somewhere else. Maybe Kona. Yeah, maybe Kona. I might have to get to my 12 for that one.
Your final question in the rapid fire round. A dream training partner, past or present, sports person or otherwise?
Oh, my dad. I like training with my dad.
Is he doing the cycle in Italy with you?
Yeah, he's the only person I'm faster than, so.
I'm sure that's not true.
It's true. It's the only person I'm faster than.
I love it. Okay, let's get serious again for a couple of minutes. If you could give athletes one piece of advice today for them going into a race in the coming weeks, what would it be?
Enjoy it. And that might sound really simple, but you can get quite caught up with the chaos of, have I packed my bag right? Have I done this right? Is that right? Is that, have I got my number? Have I done this? Oh, you need to know all that. But enjoy it. Go soak it up. That's probably the best advice. Soak it all up. And from that, I mean, soak it up before the event, soak it up in the swim, when you hear the noise before, soak it up during the swim, soak up the bike, soak up the run, and soak up the fact that you are now an Ironman.
And my final question, because I know this is a question that you've asked and continue to use, is what's next?
Great homework there as well. What's next? You know what? Just to continue on this journey. I don't plan too far ahead. I never have. Sometimes I get asked my 5-year goal, 10-year goal, and I don't know, because I wouldn't have been doing this 10 years ago. So I just think, keep enjoying it all, see what life brings. You never know what life's going to throw at you, whether it be a curveball negative or a curveball positive. But is it, as Matthew McConaughey says in a great book I'm reading now called Green Lights, is it a green light, or and is it a yellow light, red light right now that's holding you back for a second to get the next green light? So it's a green light, baby.
Brilliant. Love it. Well, it's a green light all the way to Nice and to Wales. I wish you the very best of luck. I will see you in both locations. Thank you so much for joining me on the show today. I look forward to seeing you in Nice.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode. You can get in touch with any feedback or guest suggestions by emailing me on trytalkingsport@gmail.com. If you would like to hear more great episodes of the podcast, be sure to check them out on our website or wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow all of our activities and podcasts on Facebook, X, LinkedIn and Instagram. If you have any feedback or guest suggestions, please email me on trytalkingsport@gmail.com. I really would love to hear from you. Until next time, thanks for listening, stay safe, keep smiling, and remember to look for fun and adventure in every day.